Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I'd like to start off the course of love tonight with a little chant, a little affirmation that I'd like you to let yourself hear, and if you feel like joining in at any point in time, that's fine if you just want to listen. But if you can say it to yourself silently, it could be a very powerful experience. It goes like this. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Then you take a deep breath and then you go, I am loved. I am lovable. Loving. I am lovable. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. Take a breath in. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am love. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am love. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. You are love. You are loving. You are lovable. Right now. You are love. You are loving. You are lovable. Right now. We are love. We are loving. We are lovable. Right now. We are love. We are loving. We are lovable. Right now. We are love. We are loving. We are lovable. Right now. I am love. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am love. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. Take a breath. I am love. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am love. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. So we're going to be on page 187 in the course of love. And we're going to start at the paragraph 20.38. And that paragraph starts out with hope. 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 Hope is a manner of acting. Hope is a manner of acting as if the best possible outcome you can imagine could truly occur. Act as if the best possible outcome you can imagine can truly occur is hope. I have hope means that if I have hope in this relationship, it means that I'm going to act in this relationship as if the best possible outcome I can imagine could truly occur. If you have hope in regards to what you're going to do in the world, your career, your goal, your aspirations, and you hope it happens, you're going to act as if the best possible outcome you could imagine could truly occur. If there's a relationship that you're hoping will turn out better or function better or be more peaceful, you would act as if the best possible outcome you can imagine could truly occur. Hope is a willingness to accept love and the grace and cooperation that flow from love. Hope is a willingness to ask for help. Hope is a willingness to ask for help. Hope is a willingness to ask for help, believing help will come. Ask for help, believing it will come. Hope is the reason and the outcome for which we pray. Hope acknowledges the kindliness of the universe and has no use for things. The inanimate as well as the animate is called upon, depended upon for service. My car is called upon and depended upon for service. My brother or sister is called upon and depended upon for service. All use is replaced with service. All use is replaced with service. And I'm not going to use you, I'm going to serve you. I'm not going to use you, I'm going to serve you. I'm not going to use you, I'm going to serve you. All use is replaced with service, which means appreciation replaces callousness with which use once occurred. Wow. What's your favorite definition of hope? Anybody that has a book and you're looking down at that paragraph, what would be your favorite definition of hope that you see in that paragraph?
Right now, the willingness to ask for help.
The willingness to ask for help, believing it will come.
I know it will come.
Okay.
Beyond my wildest.
You know it's going to come. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, brother.
It's the willingness to accept love and the grace and cooperation that flow from love.
That's really great too. Hope is the willingness to accept love and the grace and the cooperation that flow from love. So cooperation flows from love. Anybody else have a favorite one? Yeah.
Acting as if the best possible outcome you can imagine could truly occur.
Acting as if the best possible outcome I could truly imagine could occur. Wow, that's the thing I used to be the most afraid to do. Mm-hmm. It's like the guarantee that I would be disappointed was to make sure I didn't imagine the best possible outcome that could occur. So that kind of generate a little. When you hear something that's opposite of your belief, you go. Anybody else have a hope that they like?
I was just going to shorten it. Hope is a manner of acting as if
the best possible outcome that's going to happen.
I can fill in the blank after that, but yeah,
yeah,
because that's acting as if.
Which hope definition did you have the greatest resistance to? Anybody care to share the one definition of hope that they had the greatest resistance to?
Asking for help.
Asking for help. I had never thought of hope as asking for help, but I guess if you're asking for help, you're hoping you'll get it.
Yeah.
So I saw the connection between asking for help and hope. Anybody else have one? Acting as if the best outcome that was possible could occur. Yeah.
That was mine too.
Was that yours too?
Because of what you said, because I don't want to get my hopes up.
I don't want to use hope to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's funny when you think about it, isn't it? Anybody else have one has some resistance to?
Yeah, well, this is typical of my experience, is that I'm not always completely willing to accept the love and grace that flow my way.
Yeah, that I love that. Yeah, the love and grace, the willingness to accept the love, the willingness to accept the grace, and then I love that idea that cooperation flows from love. Cooperation flows like that. Cooperation flows from love. Yeah, Chris.
Now, Earl, this is gonna sound really weird. but
Coming from you, Chris.
No, Chris.
Oh, I couldn't
We're counting on
imagine
you,
nothing
Chris.
coming from you sounding really weird, Chris. What you talking about, man?
acting as if the best possible outcome you can imagine could truly occur is my favorite, but it's the one that I have the most resistance to as well.
Thank you.
Because yeah, a part of me it's like, oh, this is cool, but then the other part of me is like, oh, that's just fairy tale stuff.
That's right. That's right. So it's good that you see that you have two voices. Now all you have to do is decide which one you're going to side with. All of us have two voices. You know, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to always watch cartoons that had the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder telling you what to do. And that's exactly what the Course is saying is going on with us. That he calls the ego the voice for fear and the Holy Spirit the voice for love. And that we have a choice of listening to either one of those voices. And whichever one we listen to, we join with. And then whatever you join with, you create. So he says all creation comes out of some form of union. So all you have to do is go into agreement with your own negative thoughts to produce them in your physical world. No negative thought has to manifest itself until you side with it. And so he says, so it seems like the more negative thoughts manifest the most because those are the ones that we accept as true the quickest. But when we hear something like love and grace and cooperation can flow, a part of us go, yeah, right. See, we don't side with that voice. But people disappoint you, yeah. Poof, disappointing people right there because you immediately created it by siding with the idea of it. Interesting. The Course says that over and over again, nothing can be created without some form of union. That's how we got here. Somebody, something united. Right? Any comments or questions about the paragraph before we go to the next one? All service is cooperative and depends on a belief in mutuality. All fear that what is good for one may not be good for the whole is replaced by an understanding that each one is worthy of his or her desires. You are worthy of your 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 desires. Eachness replaces thingness, but not oneness. All fear that what one gets means that less is available for another is replaced with an understanding of abundance. Receiving replaces all notions of taking or getting. Receiving replaces all notions of taking. Receiving replaces all notions of getting. So you're no longer trying to get a relationship. You are willing to receive a relationship. You're no longer trying to get money, get abundance. You're willing to receive it. You're no longer trying to get peace. You're willing to receive it. And the Course in Miracles teaches that to receive means to accept. So if I'm going to receive it, I'm willing to accept it. Not take it. Not get it. Accept it. All that is received is for the mutual benefit of all and takes nothing away from anyone. There is no limit to love, so there are no limits to anything that flows from love. What one benefits from, everyone benefits from. So whatever benefits you benefits everybody. Whatever benefits you benefits everybody. Imagine how much easier it would be to receive if you believe that. If you believe that every time you receive something, everybody else was going to be blessed by it, you would be really open to receiving. He says, what we believe is that when you receive something, that means somebody else can't have it. So we think being unselfish is to limit what we receive because that's making sure everybody else can have it.
It's too bad.
Think about that for a second. I'm a good person, so I want everybody to receive, so I'm not going to allow me to have it so that someone else can have it,
Right.
and that's being generous and unselfish. And that's really what this book is saying, is somebody who doesn't understand the laws of abundance. Because the laws of abundance say whatever benefits you and whatever bless you is a blessing to everybody.
Kind of like making yourself special.
Oh, I'm so special I won't even accept.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
so special I won't even receive.
Yeah, right.
Um,
That's your spiritual.
who had a favorite thought out of that paragraph? A favorite sentence that popped out?
Receiving replaces all notions of taking or getting.
That was mine.
That's when I've got. it
Receiving
in mind.
replaces all notion of taking and all notion of getting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Anybody else have one out of that paragraph that was kind of like when made them go, "Eek." You gotta have at least one. "Eek."
Each one is worthy of his or her desires.
Each one is worthy of his or her desires. So in order to have my desires fulfilled, I need to feel like I'm worthy of them, right? So that's why a person won't ask for any more than they think they deserve. And the Course says people always give what they think they deserve. A murderer wants to be killed. Someone who picks a fight wants to be attacked. That's why they pick the fight. So you always can tell what you want to receive by what you give.
Wow.
If you're feeling guilty, you're going to attack somebody so that you can get the punishment you think you deserve. If you feel innocent, it wouldn't occur to you to attack someone because you don't think you deserve to be hurt. Powerful.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. I
Could you
love
say a little-
questions.
Okay. Could you say a little bit about eachness replaces thingness but not oneness?
Yeah, it's like usually we're into things instead of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time for us to get into each of us instead of thing. But that doesn't replace the fact that we're all one. Eachness replaces thingness. It's time for each one of us to be worthy of our desires. It's time for each one of us to receive. But we have very much been taught to be caught up in what? Thingness. It's all about things.
Mhm.
It's all about things. It's all about things, not oneness. Christmas is all about things, not oneness. It's about the latest toy, not oneness. At least when I was a kid, it looked like I used to have dreams where we at least fake like it was about love. Now we don't even fake like it's about love that much.
Right.
You know, you don't even hear about the love part that much. You hear about the Black Friday.
Did you like
Black
that?
people have a white Friday. That's the way. That's when stuff goes on sale for us.
That's when I
we
get
look
the
for
bill, I
Friday. All right.
So Earl,
mhm.
is it accurate to say that, to go one step further with thingness, that thingness is symbolic of saying that it's outside of us?
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
it's not in us?
Absolutely. That's the number one game of forgetfulness, is that everything I want that's going to make me happy is outside of me. That's the number one game of forgetfulness. It's outside. Which is really funny, because if you were to really just look at the things as being outside of you as being what's inside of you, that would be the end of that whole contradiction. It's really just a slight shift in perception. If I was just to say, you look like you're sitting over there, but the truth is, you're in my mind, I could still interact with you. I could even say I want to find my happiness in you. But if I was looking at it as if you were inside of me, then it still would be okay. It's only seeing you as outside of me that makes that statement not okay. Finding my happiness in you while you're in me is not going outside myself. But finding my happiness in you while I think you're outside of myself is taking me into forgetfulness. Believing that you're inside of me and saying my love is inside of you is taking me inside myself, because I'm seeing you as inside myself. That would be a good way to get over that contradiction if you wanted to not be in conflict. You know, I think my happiness is in you, but only because I think you're in my mind. So it's still inside of me that the happiness is in. So if I want the happiness or the love to be in you, I just have to make it be inside of you in my mind. Because I'm going to see what's in my mind. So I'm going to see the love in you when I see the love in you in my mind.
That's cool.
It's so easy, but the
Yeah.
ego mind will never do it. The ego mind will never ever do it, because for the ego mind to receive what it wants is the destruction of the ego mind. So the ego fearful mind its whole premise is I must always seek but never find what I'm looking for, because if I find what I'm looking for, it's the end of my ego. It's the end of my thought of lack. It's the end of the thought that I can't have what I want. So people who think they're egos, they have a vested interest in never succeeding at anything they attempt to do to maintain their separate sad identity. Because if their sad identity met happiness, it would be the end of their sad identity. So your sad identity just looks for more sadness. It looks for more things to be unhappy about to maintain itself. So it's the last thing a person that's sad about relationships really wants is a happy one. Because it would be the undoing of their sad their sad personality
Yeah.
that they identify with as them. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, you have to understand, there's a part of you that wants to stay just like it is.
The story.
And it's completely invested in staying exactly as it is, while trying to convince you really want to change. How do you know that you don't really want to change? Because change is simple, and you won't do it. What could be easier in this world than change? Could there be anything easier in this world when everything in it changes all the time? We just need to get on board.
Takes a lot of energy to stay stuck, doesn't it?
We need to accept that nothing here stays the same.
Yeah.
As soon as you accept that, you end up 90% of your stress. You won't be expecting that relationship to never change. You won't be expecting that financial situation to never change. You won't be expecting your feelings and emotions to never change. So when they do, you would just flow with it, because you notice the nature of everything in this world to change. But the Course is saying that you could use change to your advantage by asking change to undo everything in your life that's not of God. Ask for that change. That all the changes you experience right now are changes that release you from fear and changes that release you from separation. And now you're working with a world that everything changes in. So change can happen quick if we stop fighting it.
Now, I'm going through a situation right now where I am like looking at like the ego, and I'm doing what the ego wants for me, but it's really painful. It's very painful, because the ego keeps telling me, look, if you get rid of me, and if you stop doing this, and if you do this new way, you ain't gonna have like all this great feeling that I've given you. And I have had great feelings, but like it's never enough. It's never enough. Like it's almost there, but it's never enough. And I always need more.
You could use your feelings of it never being enough and never satisfying enough to be a beacon to take you home. The fact that we're never completely satisfied is what keeps us from settling for less than what we deserve. So never being satisfied is a sign that you have something that's less than what you know you deserve. So looked at correctly, not being satisfied could become a motivator to keep you still moving towards your connection to God, which is where your satisfaction is ultimately going to come from. Does that make sense to everybody? If you got satisfied with something that wasn't really real, that wouldn't be to your advantage. So the reason why we're never satisfied is because we can't be satisfied until it's real. So if you're not satisfied, it ain't real. But the ego don't want to accept it could be that simple. I know this is real, but I'm not satisfied. Truth says no. If it's not satisfying, it's not real.
But then why does a part of it feel so good?
It doesn't really feel good. It's what the Course calls a pleasure, or a special form of fear, or pleasant. The Course calls it a pleasant form of fear. It's a fear you like, and so you call it pleasurable. We have fears we like, and we have fears we don't like. Like being on a roller coaster can be a fear you like. You know what I'm saying? Being mugged is a fear you don't like. But both of them are not real. Both of them are not something that comes from God. Plus, we're supposed to get to the point that we don't like anything that's temporary, and that we only like things that are permanent and expanding. So the fact that you have any pleasure that doesn't last, at some point in your spiritual development, that's going to become completely unacceptable to you. So you won't be satisfied to be happy on Monday, sad on Tuesday, happy on Wednesday and Thursday, sad on Friday and Saturday, back happy again on Monday for a couple of hours, then sad for the rest of the day, then the next day thinking it's a good day because something went the way you think you wanted to go. Now you're sad again. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get to the point you're going to go, enough. I want to go for what's real. And I don't have the slightest idea what that is, or what it looks like, or how to get there, or anything. I just know I want it. And he said that would be enough. So you're in the process right now recognizing the games you're playing on yourself. That's an important phase, even if you can't stop playing the game yet.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You may not be able to stop your games yet, but you come a long way if you at least see that you got a game you're running down on yourself. Most people don't even know they got a game they're running down on themselves. They think it's a game somebody else is running down on them. So the mere fact that you go, this is my game that I'm playing against myself, puts you way ahead of the game. But your ego is going to say that ain't good enough, because it's going to say that about anything you do. There is nothing you do that your ego is going to say, not going to say that's not enough. Nothing. It's the part of your mind that's never satisfied. And I definitely have a part of my mind that's never satisfied. Now I just use it to my advantage. Oh, it means I haven't had something real yet. This isn't real yet. Why? I'm not satisfied. So it's really a quick way to find out what's real in your life and what's not. People don't like that. You know why? Because it looks like everything in their life is not satisfying and not real. Some people have so much stuff that they don't enjoy it. When they hear something like that, it depresses them because they realize, well, I'm not really satisfied in any area of my life. You're right. No part of your life that you're focusing in on is authentic for you or real for you. You're just trying to survive. You're living at the security level. The lowest level of consciousness you can live on is the security level, where you just do everything for security. That's the lowest level of consciousness. That's the lowest level of consciousness. Did you know that? The lowest level is the security level. Somebody with their hands up. Yeah, Debbie.
It's funny because you just said that, because I really related to what Chris said, because of what my ego tells me. I'll see a change that I want to make, that I feel inspired to make, and it tells me if you won't be able to survive. You won't be able to survive.
Check that out. That's a big statement.
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Oh no.
If you make this change.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be, or something equivalently bad, like I'm gonna be like this destitute, homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. That's it.
One thing about
That
you,
nobody
you'll be
will
one of the cutest homeless ladies out there.
Look at the bright side. Huh?
You'll never be under your cardboard box by yourself, I tell you that. That ain't happening.
Almost and juicy.
You know, but the Course actually says that we believe that happiness will kill us, that the truth will kill us. It's right there in the book that it says we think we will die if we do what the truth says. So that's a very real fear that the Course says we have, that we would just die if we were truly happy. Something would kill us. It'll happen about one day. Year after that, you're done for. So that in order to live long, we try to be miserable. Or, he said, which is another thing the Course says, it says so many cool things. It says that guilt is a way of is a distorted way of trying to guarantee immortality. Because if you've done something that you need to be punished for, the punishment is always when? In the future. So guilt is a distorted way that the ego tries to convince itself that it will live forever, because you're always going to be punished in the future. So you got to be in the future to receive it. So it's still a reflection of our desire to be eternal. It's just screwed up. It's just, it's not a cool way to try to be eternal. The Course says that you want to mix joy and eternity. The ego mixes punishment and eternal. You're gonna burn in hell forever. See, and then the spirit would say, if you're gonna live forever, it's best that it be joyful, or it's gonna be a drag. So let's mix joy with eternity. So he says that we almost hit, the spirit has to allow us to be happy, or we would never want eternal life. Nobody's going to want eternal life owing MasterCard. You know what I'm saying? So it's really kind of, don't you love the simplicity of the truth? Like when you really hear it, it's just so simple that you almost wonder, why can't I get it? It's not, nothing that we're being told is complicated. There are two voices, two choices. Whichever one you side with, that's the one you're going to see. Everything that you see on the outside is a reflection of what you're thinking on the inside. So if you want to see it on the outside, just create it in your mind and you'll see it outside yourself. Imagine that it's going to turn out exactly the way you want it. That's hope. And you think I would be excited about doing that. You know what I'm saying? But not if I believe that punishment is my salvation. I won't. That's why churches that teach guilt and sin have more members.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You think you're guilty and sinful. You go to church and the minister say you're guilty, you're sinful. It sounds like he's telling you the truth because you already feel that way about yourself anyway. You think you don't love yourself and you think you're not worthy. You come to hear me. And I say, you are worthwhile, you do deserve love, you have never sinned. I'm going to seem like a liar and a deceiver. I'm going to seem like I'm the devil in the cloak of an angel. Because you know you don't deserve what I just said. See the difference? That's why classes like this are never overflowing.
It's smaller all the time.
Right. The more you tell people they're innocent, the more they subconsciously retreat. It's not conscious. It's not that they sit down and say, I'm not going to go where someone's telling me I'm innocent. It's just that much against the core of our programming.
It just sounds too good to be true, Earl.
That's what I'm saying. Who wants to go hear a liar? Who wants to go hear someone that's telling them something that's not true?
Well, it's a big responsibility for someone to accept that, you know, I'm responsible for how my life is. Because if your life sucks, then, you know, that means that you have to change it. You have the ability to change it.
Right, right. And when you wake up, that's good news.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing about it.
Yeah.
That's what turned me on to New Thought. It made me get in New Thought to begin with. They said your beliefs make your reality. I went, what? Your beliefs make your reality. Whatever you believe, that's what you're going to experience. I didn't immediately go to the place of that meant I'm responsible for all the crappy stuff in my life. When I first heard that, it made me think I could create whatever I liked, and I could have every fantasy that I wanted to come true. That was the way. That's the direction I went in. Like, oh yeah,
And you
all I
gave,
have to do is think it, and then I can have it. Wow!
and you gave a good stab at that.
I absolutely. It was because I did that and was successful at it that I was willing to move on to another level. But as long as I think that it's something out there that I want to experience that I can't experience or haven't experienced, I'm going to continue to be distracted by it. And I'm not going to go on to the next level. That's why Spirit lets us have our toys so we can go ahead and go on to the next level. You know, it's like you want a house, you want a car, you want to project that, you want to have whatever you want. Okay, you can have it. Now you got that? Okay, now you see that didn't completely satisfy you, right? Okay, let's go to the next level of true satisfaction because you weren't going to go until you had the house because you decided the house was what was going to make you happy. And you weren't going to pay any attention to anything I said until you got your house. So here's your house. Are you happy now? Because that fulfilled every need that you have. You have no other thoughts of any other joy whatsoever. No, you don't. Well, that lets you know that there's another level that you need to learn about, and you can do it in your new house, in your new den, in your new car. The Spirit doesn't give a hoot about us having our toys. It's not even part of the whole deal. You know, you want a house, get a house. You want a $500,000 car, you can afford it, go get it. You know, whatever. It's okay. You know, you got to have a relationship before you let yourself go to God. You got to have more sex before you think you can go to God. You got to lose 10 pounds. Okay, lose 10 pounds. Okay, big deal. You did it. Now, can we move on now? That's the way it really works. But the ego is the part that tells us you can't have that house or you should judge yourself as daring to want a mansion. That means you're too materialistic. So you judge yourself for your toys. Could you imagine that Christmas morning, for those of you who celebrated that, you go out to play with your toys and you don't even pick them up because you're feeling so guilty about having them? Somebody told you that you were sinful if you had a truck. So there the truck is, and you just want to play with it, but now you put the idea of it's sinful to have a truck, so you won't let yourself play with your truck. And somebody was saying, that's crazy, it's not sinful to have a truck. That's us. We're keeping ourselves from doing things that we like to do because we invented the idea of morality based on our concepts of sin and guilt and what's moral and what's not moral, and it's all made up. So most people are feeling guilty about doing made up rules or not doing made up rules. Do you know that? Most people are feeling guilty because of made up rules that people made up, not God, society.
Sometimes we make them up too, though.
We are society.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. And I would go so far as to say we're always feeling guilty about rules we made up because we had to either accept or reject these teachings.
Just a quick dumb example, or it's not so dumb. But last year, my brother, at Christmas time, he didn't call, and I said, well, I'm not calling him. It's his time to call.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And he died
Mhm.
January the 14th.
Mhm.
And today I just
That
got
showed you, didn't it?
overwhelmed with guilt.
Right, that was the purpose.
Huh?
That was the purpose, was
Jesus.
to make you feel guilty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it did. And today it was working because it's coming around Christmas, you know, and damn, I wish I'd have called my brother.
Well, I had the same thing I had to overcome, same thing, the exact same thing. My sister called me the day before she made her
remember that.
transition, and I was gonna call her back
Yeah,
the next day,
Yeah.
and she made her transition that night.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I had to deal with the
Damn.
same thing. And
Yeah.
But what got me beyond it was the truth. The truth says we choose when we're born and we choose when we die. The truth says we're not our body. The truth says we're not responsible for what happens to somebody else. We're only responsible for what happens to our own perceptions and ourselves. It's no way you can practice the truth and hang on to guilt. It's always when you're not practicing the truth that you feel guilty. Which I think is awesome. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Now, Earl, this is very important. Because you said that we choose our birth and we choose our death, right?
Right.
Now, okay,
Can't prove it to you, but that's
Now-
what it says.
do we choose everything that goes on too?
Everything that goes on.
Okay, because that gives me a lot of hope because see, like I'm going through a situation right now where I'm like, a part of me actually had that revelation that I chose this. But then the other part that I've always lived by is like, oh no, this is just fate. This is just like something that happened to you.
Right.
And you're a victim.
That's right.
And you're helpless against it.
That's right.
But the other part was like, no, you actually chose this.
You know what's cool too, Chris, is to realize that the part of you that told you that you were a victim, that part, you've already had a chance for a lifetime to follow its instruction and see the results. But you haven't followed the instruction of you are responsible and you choose to see the result of that. You already know the result of believing that you're a victim. Your whole life has been that. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have to pay attention so much to that voice. It's not like we don't know what kind of life that voice produces. We've been living the life that voice produces. But I haven't lived the life of hope being me acting as if it's going to turn out better than I could imagine. I haven't lived the life of allowing the universe to completely cooperate and receive instead of trying to take and get or seeing myself as innocent. I haven't lived that premise. So just on the basis of your own past experience, by now you should know that your ego is lying to you. Just from the basis of your own past experience, believing that you're a victim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not even theoretical anymore for us. You all have had enough relationships to know that your happiness is not in the other person, outside of yourself. All of us, since we were in elementary school, have had enough relationships that we've said, this one is the one. 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 Oh, no, this one. Then you go, they are the ones. They are the ones. You know, and it never is. It never, ever, ever is. But the Course says we believe that if we do the thing that doesn't work a certain number of times, it works. Be with that just for a minute. He said,
Yeah.
he said, we believe if we do the same thing that doesn't work enough times, it'll work. And I had to agree, that was exactly the way I was living my life. This hasn't worked over and over again, but if I keep on doing it, sooner or later, I'm going to meet the person it's going to work with. I just haven't found the right person to do the wrong thing with yet.
One thing.
The wrong thing, the thing that don't work.
Thing.
You know,
That thing.
he says receiving is an act of mutuality. It stems from a basic law of the universe expressed in the saying that the sun shines and the rain falls on the good and the evil alike. All gifts of God are given equally and distributed equally. That's not true. Oprah definitely has received more of the grace of God. We are absolutely sure that Oprah has received more of the grace of God. Doesn't it seem like that sometimes? Like other people have more than you, that things are not distributed equally?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. He says, it is your belief that this is not so, that we receive equally from God, that causes judgment. That's what made me say Oprah has the favor of God. See, that was my judgment, right?
Yeah.
Based on the fact that I don't look like God gives equally. She got more than me, right? All who believe they have more fall prey to righteousness. I've met people who, because they were financially stable and well off, automatically thought that meant they must be right. I've met people who believe they're right just because they have stuff. They must be doing right what God wants them to do because they have stuff.
God.
And the people who don't have
So
stuff,
true.
they're not doing right.
Yeah.
I've met people like that. And so he says, all who believe they have less fall victim to envy. So if you broke, you're envious. And if you're not, and you're in your ego, you're self-righteous. Both fall from grace and limit their ability to receive. No gifts are received when all gifts are judged. No gifts are received when all gifts are judged. That's a great line.
I like that.
While the gift is still given, the judgment changes the nature of the gift by limiting its ability to be of service. So a gift that you judge cannot serve you. A gift that you judge cannot heal you. A gift that you judge cannot be used for your joy. A gift one feels one cannot use is discarded. Thus, many of your treasures have lain fallow. If I'm trying to give you a gift that you can't use, then you never use it. You just discard it. So, like for instance, if someone comes to the class and the book is giving them all kinds of gifts or thoughts, but they decide that it's not for them, they just discard it. But that doesn't mean it wasn't helpful or couldn't have helped them. So, what's your favorite statement out of that paragraph? Anyone have a statement that they really... Let's look at this statement right quick, the one about all gifts of God are given equally and distributed equally. Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Does that seem true about the people in Africa and third world countries who seem like they have absolutely nothing compared to what it looks like we have? Does it look like things are not given equally?
Indeed.
Okay, right. This is what's equal. God's gifts given equally means that each one of us has the power within us to create our reality. That all of us were equally given choice. All of us in each moment are equally given choice. All of us in each moment can choose for joy or choose for conflict. That's how God's gifts were distributed equally. And then what we're seeing in everybody's life is their personal use of that power. Their personal uses of that truth. So everybody is equal, but they're not equal in the way they choose to use their power. But everyone is using all of their power all of the time.
That'll help you get over feeling sorry for somebody, won't it?
And when you stop feeling sorry for people, it's when you're healed. True empathy means not to join in somebody else's suffering with them. True empathy is not joining in somebody's suffering with them. because they need somebody to see them as strong. I used to say in my classes, if you're not going to send a care package to Africa, please don't spend all your time looking at them as being the poor, pitiful, starving people in Africa. At the very least, shoot them out of power thought. You're not going to send them any money, then see them as capable of going beyond what appears to be the limitation that they're in. But that's not the way the average person does it. They don't physically help, and then they see the people as weak out of their compassion. So I'm not going to send you a care package, but I'm sure going to see you as a poor, starving child in Africa, because that makes, and I feel bad about that, by the way. I really feel bad about it. Let me call Domino's right now. Give me the largest pizza they got.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I'm mad because you come to my house and you came in 35 minutes. You know.
To Africa.
These people haven't seen a meal in days. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to think I'm a nice person. It's another thing to actually be of service to others. It's a whole
I'm
different
thinking
thing.
of all, the street people, and, it's easy to get caught up, but I kind of like what you said.
They are street people because they are choosing to be street people. They all have a choice. All of us have a choice, but we're not all aware that we have a choice.
Yeah.
We're not aware. Some of them may not be. That's why you would be compassionate.
Yeah.
But you certainly wouldn't see them as victims if you truly wanted to help them. If you truly wanted to help them. For real. You're not a victim, and here's $5 to buy you breakfast. Why did I give you $5 and I didn't give anybody else $5? Because I was inspired to, I was led to, I felt like giving $5 to you. I've been driving down the street sometimes, and there's some people that are standing out there that I actually feel compelled to give them some money. And there can be other people that are standing on the corner with a sign, and I'll be criticizing their spelling. You know what I'm saying?
We got a dog.
And what you doing, man? Let me give you a tip. Don't beg with a dog. Okay? Those people be going, you can feed that dog. You know what I'm saying? You know, not be too bad off, It's like you're going to be led as to who you're supposed to help. And you'll know who it is because you will not feel like it's a sacrifice. You will feel like, oh, I am glad I did that. I feel good about that. But the person that's standing out there that you're feeling you're doing it out of guilt, you need to keep that money in your wallet. The last thing they need is a guilty gift.
That happened once. I was going to give a guy $5, and I turned around to go give it to him, and he was gone.
That's right, out of guilt.
Right.
So his guilt made him miss the $5, and your guilt made you turn around and he was gone.
He was gone.
He wasn't even ready to receive. You get ready to give him and he disappears. Could that be us? Could the universe be given to us, but we are not showing up?
Yeah.
We went the other way?
Totally.
That'll be deep.
Yeah.
That'll be really deep. Anybody else see anything in that paragraph that for them was powerful?
The ones that believe they fall prey to righteousness, and then the other one that falls victim to envy, they're both fallen. So
They're both fallen.
wrong.
That's deep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anybody else have one?
And that backs up, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
To one who benefits from, everyone benefits from. As soon as you said that, my head went, well, when somebody's benefiting from something, somebody else is getting screwed.
And that's what he said, that we believe that when somebody
Right.
receives
It's
something.
like an oxymoron. It goes against the way I was taught, or the way my brain works.
Right,
If somebody's benefiting, then I'm getting screwed.
right.
There's no way around it.
Right. So if somebody's benefiting, then I'm getting screwed. And I'm getting screwed if somebody is benefiting. So I don't want nobody to benefit, so I won't get screwed.
Well, how can everybody benefit?
I'll give you a classic example of how everybody could benefit. Let's say you're a hellraiser and your family can't scared to death to have you come home. But for some reason that day you felt good. You felt a whole lot of peace. Your feeling peace benefited your whole family. Because now you will come home and you will be a much more loving person than the one that terrifies them. So your happiness benefited all those people. You become wealthy. Your family benefits. Because they are able to share in your wealth with you. You are in love with what you do. Everybody that receives your product benefits. Jeff was showing me one time some of the framing that he does, and it was mind-boggling to see what he does. And I was thinking and I could see how much he loved what he did. So it was obvious to me that anybody who purchased any of those frames was benefiting from his love of what he was doing, because he was giving them a quality product. So every time you benefit, everybody benefits. Does that make it make more sense now? If you wanted to.
But it seems like that's on a small scale. You know what I mean? Like we talk
Why
about the family thing.
But why
It's
wouldn't
just
it be
my
true
family.
on a
How
large
about-
scale? Why wouldn't I tell you, okay, I don't rob and mug people. That's benefiting everybody. It really does expand exponentially. I use your family as an example,
Right.
but really that applies to everybody. Your being in a good mood benefits the person at the store. It benefits the person on your job. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody benefits when any one of us benefits, when any one of us are joyful, when any one of us are happy. Everybody benefits. And that's the truth. So you're really doing everybody a favor when you let yourself receive. You'll be doing me look here.
Yeah,
You all
yeah.
would be doing me a favor if you would let yourselves become happy and have what you want. Would y'all please start benefiting? Would you please start having what you want and what you deserve? Would you do that favor? Would y'all do that for me?
Yeah.
Would y'all have what you want?
Yeah.
Would you do that? Please?
Yeah.
Okay, let's acknowledge ourselves for hearing this like God. Whoa. Yeah. Woo. I needed that tonight. That was so good. All right, let's do the love offering. And do you know that there's a certain point on the spiritual path where you realize that this is all an illusion and it's all folly?
Yeah.
It's all what?
Folly.
All folly.
Folly. F-O-L-L-Y.
This-
When you, everything we do in the world.
Yes.
You get to the point that you realize everything that we do in the world is just stuff.
Silly stuff.
It's just stuff that we do, right? And so you lose a lot of your motivation. As a matter of fact, some of you may go into depression when you realize how meaningless everything you do is. Okay, so that's good, because that's the in-between stage where you have removed a lot of the value and false meaning that you put on everything before you get the new meaning put on it by God. So you got this in-between kind of a place.
The hallway?
So how do you get through that? You follow the path with heart. You only do the things you can get what you would call your heart into. It all equally doesn't matter. So the only thing that would make you be able to make a choice would be, what is it you can feel and get your heart into, and which one inspires you the most. You go in the direction of your inspiration when you start to wake up spiritually. Because you see, it all doesn't make any difference, because nothing you're going to do is going to make you lose the love of God. All of a sudden you realize nothing's at stake anymore. There's nothing to prove, anything. And so all of a sudden you realize that 90% of everything you were doing was based on the idea of competition. Competing with yourself, competing with somebody else. Who can be the best? How can I be the best? How can I draw attention to myself? How can I do it better than anybody else? And all of a sudden, because of your spiritual study, you realize you're completely loved, and you're going to be completely loved no matter what. Then your whole basis of your motivation drops. And the only thing that inspires you at that point is you're doing stuff just for the fun of it, just for the heck of it, so that you can show up and be the love in the house.
All right.
You get to the point, I'm just supposed to show up to be the love in the house. Okay? And in the meantime, I'm going to do my favorite dance. That's being the Christ.
Yeah.
It's time for people to have the Christ show up at a party. That's you. You're there remembering that everybody in the party is innocent and children of God. At the same time, you're drinking punch. You're letting somebody talk to you about they just got diagnosed with cancer, while you're standing there beaming light to their body and seeing their body is innocent, even while you're talking to them about, and what else did the doctor say? But you immediately go into seeing them as the invulnerable being that they are, without ever saying a word to them. That's being the Christ. That's why we're on the planet. We're on the planet to remember what everybody else has forgotten. And if we remember what everybody else has forgotten, we will be taken care of automatically. But people don't believe that. It's got to be more intense than that. It's got to be more complicated than that. Then if you need love, it'll be handed out to you. If you need a relationship, it will be given to you. If you think you need a job, you'll receive it. If you think you need money, you'll receive it. But you'll recognize that everything that you have comes only from God. And that's what you must remember. It's not coming from anything but your Creator. That's the lesson. So that once you learn that lesson, there's no need to have the things that force you to learn that lesson. Right? All the stuff that's happening to you is just to force you to turn within. So suppose you just go, I'm going to voluntarily turn within. End of your need to have harsh lessons. Then you can have the joyful ones while you're hanging out a little while longer.
Can you show us your favorite dance again?
You get the tongue.
Tongue's got to work too.
If you don't do that, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work if you don't do that too.
Just check it from this one.
That's right. So,
Stop to scare us.
good. It's about time. I've been trying to do that since I've been sitting up here. Y'all can take pretty much anything I did. Okay, for a couple of minutes before we leave out, one more time. And let yourself hear it. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am lovable. Loving. I am lovable. Right now. What you say? I am loved. I am lovable. Loving, I am lovable. I'm going to be lovable second, right now. Because I be loving. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. Right now. You are loved. You are loving. You are lovable right now. 3, you are loved. You are loving. You are lovable right now. You are loved. You are loving. You are lovable right now. You are loved. You are loving. You are lovable right now. Now put a little juice in it. You are loved. You are loving. You are lovable right now. What about we? We are loved. We are loving. Funky. We are lovable. Right now. We are loved. We are loving. We are lovable. Right now. Now, if you really want to get it, do the dance. We are loved. We are loving. Yeah. We are lovable. Right now. One more time. We are loved. We are loving. We are lovable. Right now. Appreciate y'all, Holy Spirit. You know we created some stuff. I can feel it. I have hope. I'm asking for help. And I believe it's gonna come.
I believe it's going to